Dungeon Crawler Network presents Tales of Tamriel.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 127 of Tales of Tamriel. I am hosting again, Aggelos. Yes, I am. Good internets. That's what it is. And also joining me, my awesome partner in crime and also tanking because of my Sexplar build is of equal or greater value than his Dragonite build, Arkhaniir.
No. You can't just sneak that in there in the introduction.
I told you in Discord messages that I was coming back on the show, and you and I were going to argue about my Sexplar build every episode, so I had to slip it in early. Yes, so, yeah. And, welcome to our chat room. Thank you so much for coming out on this Saturday evening. We are here prepared to talk about the Elder Scrolls Online. Because that is what we do here. Ain't that right, Ark?
Is it?
Well, maybe.
It's mainly dancing, cakes, and, you know, how my Dragon Knight is absolutely better than your Sexplar.
You're reaching there, Ark. You're really reaching. I know it. No.
You started it.
At least the first two parts were true. Naked Redgar dancing and cake. But you lost me at that your Dragon Knight build because I don't think that's true.
We'll see one day.
Yeah,
one day.
We'll see. We'll get there. Khajiit's trying to sabotage me. She's looking at me. She just jumped down, knocked something over, and looked back at me like, maybe you didn't notice. Maybe you didn't notice. And I really need my anti-Khajiit spray because she's just like all over the place right now. Aren't you? She's staring at me with those glowing eyes. It's really
Krabby
creepy.
says your mic is peaking hardcore.
Is it? All right. I can adjust that. Okay. Let's see here.
How do I sound, by the way? Because in the pre-show, I'm asking chat room, the pre-show, it sounded quite decent compared to previous weeks. So, if you guys can comment on that, maybe I'll just cancel my new microphone order if that's the case.
Yeah, right. Krabby, how's the audio now? Sound a little better, I hope. From our testing, it seemed okay, but I wonder if I bet you if OBS is doing its own little thing right now, so I'm gonna have to play with it. There's so many little interconnecting parts, and it's a real pain in the butt sometimes. Yeah. So, all right. Well, why don't we go ahead and roll right into the show? All right. That's going to be the ESO free-to-play weekend on Xbox One, which was starting on November 23rd, which actually is 3 days ago. So they're letting everyone know that ESO is free this week on the Xbox One, similar to how we had it before, or for the other ones. Everyone will receive 500 crowns on one of the new things. I think my mic is still spiking, so I'm going to let you talk about this while I play with my mic.
Okay. It's what are we talking about? I was reading the chat. Anyway, the free weekend on Xbox, it's the same deal that we got on PC and PS4. I don't know why it was a week late. But it starts on Wednesday. It started on Wednesday, November 23rd, and it will be over at November 27th, which is, I guess, tomorrow?
Okay.
It's tomorrow. One thing to note is that it says that Xbox Gold members will be able to download ESO and play for free through the weekend. I don't know what the Xbox Gold membership exactly is, but it says that, so I guess if you are not a Gold member, that means you won't be able to try the free weekend thing. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. Chat room, is it any better? Any better at all? Any better?
To me, it
There we
still
go.
sounds...
Here we
kind
go.
of
I figured it
sort
out
of-
now.
Ah, okay.
All right. How's that? Any better?
Um,
I'm going to let them talk as we get here, but I'm assuming it's better. I don't know. I think I was turning it the wrong way, so I was actually boosting it up.
It does sound a little better, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I could turn my volume down if it is a problem still. So I was actually turning it the wrong way because my mic is now upside down because, it's hanging on the rack. And there we go. Now I'm looking at it, and okay. Now we're doing better. Okay. Good deal. Good deal. All right. Yeah, I was looking at Toybox. Thank you. And he's like, yeah, it's not any better. But that was the first time I said it, and I was turning the audio down. But yeah, because I have it flipped upside down, everything's inverted. So I'm like turning it like, oh, this is the down, and here I'm turning it up. So
That means I forgot to order the microphone holder thing.
oh,
So just hold
that.
it like that when it arrives.
Okay. Everyone says it seems okay now, so I'm pretty excited. All right.
Also, Zealot says that Xbox Gold means you can play online games, so that makes sense, I guess.
Well, I knew there were some issues with the Xbox, and the Xbox has always caused issues with ESO.
Yeah,
Like,
I was about to say that.
I know when they first announced it, they specifically announced the free-to-play weekend for PC and for PlayStation 4, as well as some of the sales that came out were for PlayStation and for PC, but not Xbox, and now they're like a week late.
Yeah. I don't know, they don't like Xbox, or Xbox doesn't like ESO. Well, something's really going on there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's it. So it's another free-to-play weekend, just like the other one was. So take that into account. So when you're playing, if you're playing on Xbox, invite your friends because it is now free-to-play until November 27th. So it's till the end of this weekend. So it's November 27th at midnight. So yeah, it's the end of this weekend. So those of you watching this live can still do it. Those of you who wait till this comes out on Monday will probably be too late.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how it goes. All right. Speaking of the Black Friday sale, we actually had a couple interesting things hit the Crown Store specifically for Black Friday this year. I see a wild Thais has appeared.
No.
I won't. No, yeah. So yeah, if you're naked, don't come over.
I'm totally naked for you guys.
No, you'll get us banned.
The pair of scissors are on my desk. Behind that empty water bottle.
Well, then go. There you go. Sorry, everyone. Everyone watching the podcast is probably like, what's going on? I just had to put my hand over my camera so Thais could walk across because she didn't want to appear on the camera right now. So, she's camera shy. No, she's not. Anyway, back to the Black Friday sale, which came up. The Black Friday special bundle, which began on November 23rd, was for 1,900 crowns for PC, Mac, and Xbox One, PS4. This bundle, they say, is valued at 9,100 crowns, includes the following item. Zet's Cloud Camel Mount, 160 crown lethal poisons, 10 crown speed riding lessons, capacity lessons and for riding, 10 crown fortifying meals, 10 crown experience scrolls, 50 crown try restoration pots, and 20 crown soul gems. This bundle was available until Monday, November 28th at 10 a.m. Eastern. So you can only buy one of these per account as well. I actually got this because 2,000 crowns is cheaper than most of their mounts, and the Zex Camel I didn't have.
And you have to have everything on Crown Store, so...
Yeah, well, that is it.
The thing I don't like about these bundles is that there are usually only one or two useful items in there, and the rest is just useless stuff. Like the Crown Little Poisons, Fortifying Meals, Tripod Potions, Soul Gems.
you know, the sad part is, this is what really annoys me, okay? And this is a PSA for anyone who does not have this, okay? If you buy this, I was thinking, okay, I wanted it for the camel mount, because I like the camel mounts. They're pretty neat. I didn't really care about the lethal poisons. I mean, yeah, it was coming there. The experience scrolls are nice. I threw them in, you know, in my bank. That's great. The tri-stat potions, again, you know, whatever. I'll use them and they'll sell gems. But I was like, ooh, I'll actually get some use out of the riding lessons because I have other alts. You cannot put them in your bank. So they're stuck to the character you bought them on, and I bought them on Ag, who's my main, who already is maxed out and has been maxed out for like 2 years.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like, I'm thinking about putting in a support ticket, and maybe they'll change it. Because you think if I bought it, I could throw it in my bank, because it's bound. Yes, I get it. I can't give it to other people, which is fine, but you would think it would be bind on account. That way, at least I could give it to the character that matters, because there was no descriptor on it. I actually thought I could. You know, just like you can with the experience scrolls and stuff like that. You can throw them in your bank and grab by anything on your account. But the riding skills, you can't. And so, you know, I didn't think about it. If I really would have thought about it and went, oh, this is pretty bad, I would have just bought it on one of the new characters I wanted to add the riding skills on, right? But they don't tell you that. I thought I could just throw it in my bank. So now I have essentially 10 riding lessons or 20 riding lessons or whatever that I can't use and I can't give to any of my alts. So that's kind of crazy.
No, they'll probably do something about it if you send a support ticket, but at least back when, you know, they actually did stuff when you contacted them. I don't know, I haven't contacted ZeniMax Online recently about anything, so...
Yeah, I haven't really had a reason to. And I mean, in reality, is it a big deal? No, it cuts out 10 days worth of me. Because how I do it with my riding lessons is when I have a character that I want to play or I want to level, I count out the gold of how much it would cost. Because, you know, you can get 60. Each thing is 250 gold, so times 60 times 3. Okay? And that's how much gold I have, which, you know, I'm going to pull up my handy-dandy calculator because I can't do math right now. So, you know, 60 times 250 gold per lesson times 3 times, it's 45k gold. So I take 45k out of my bank, put exactly 45k on that character, and park them in front of the horse riding guy. And then every day I just log in, and that's how I leveled. Like, I had 8 characters, but and I'll get to it when I get into gameplay, but I bought the other character slots as well. But, you know, they sit there, I log in every day, buy the lesson, and then log back out, right? That's all I do. And that works for me. So 45k gold is not a whole lot of gold. Like, it's not. So it's not like I'm out huge amounts, but it would have been nice just been able to instantly boost something up 10 slots, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I wish they kept the old style where the riding skill was account-wide. But then again, I guess they wouldn't be able to sell the crown riding skill stuff, so...
Yeah, I mean, that... I get it, but like I said, it's honestly not that... 45k gold is not a lot of gold if you have a trader. Not even if you have a trader, if you just sell the whites and the greens that you get.
No, the gold isn't the problem. The problem is that it takes 180 days to completely max it out. I mean, even my main character isn't, like, the main character in North America, the Arkhaniir Civil Shield, isn't maxed out on the riding skills. I think I still have 20 more to go in capacity, because I keep forgetting it.
Really?
In 2.5 years since I've been playing that. 2.5 years, and I still haven't maxed it out.
Okay.
Also, one thing that annoys me more than this is that they didn't put a stamina riding skill cap thing in that bundle.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Why there is the speed and capacity and no stamina?
You know, for digital, and this is the thing with digital currency. If we really want to dig into it, is there really that much? Would the value of this pack have been less? Like, why don't they just make it 2,000 crowns and add that extra 10 in there, and then you get 3 across the board? I can understand why they did 10 speed. I actually wish they would have just let you pick. You get something that's like, what do you want? And that way you could, you get 30 of them, and you go, I can do 10 across the board, or I can just do 30 in this, or whatever. Maybe that's harder to do code-wise, maybe. So
I mean, the thing is, I don't care about the pricing or anything. It's just, why 2 out of 3?
It does make sense. Yeah, it does seem a little backwards that you're right.
What was the reason behind this? I don't know. I'm completely off the topic, but
No, it is a question. I mean, it's it might seem kind of nitpicky, but it does seem kind of weird. I know I would much rather. I would have given up any of the other things, the lethal poisons and stuff like that, because are they really that good? No, they're not. They're of equal value to what you can create in game, and poisons and food and soul gems. They're not hard to get. Oh my goodness! I actually, when I looked, I was telling you, Ark, that when I had to sell off some soul gems because when I looked last, I had like 1,400 soul gems, filled grand soul gems on my character. Because I wasn't dying that often. At least not in my normal play. Or and where the areas that I do die a lot, Trials and Maelstrom Arena. A lot of times that doesn't matter because it's a wipe anyway, and we just port back. So I'm not even using them to res at any point. So it's rare that I use them, so I just kept stockpiling. But I agree, it's weird. But there's more sales. They also included a starter pack, which the starter pack was already in the game, but now it's 60% off during this period of time, which I think it's still there. Like their Black Friday sale is a little longer than all this. All these sales and stuff are pretty much till Monday or the end of Monday.
Yeah.
But this
Monday morning actually.
Monday morning, yeah. So this is 60% off. So this starter pack is only 480 crowns. It includes the Piebald Destria mount, the Windhelm Wolfhound, 80 crown lethal potions, 10 crown restoration potions, 2 crown repair kits, 2 crown soul gems, 1 crown fortifying meal, 1 crown experience scroll. So that's available. Crown experience scroll packs are now 25% off, so they're 750 crowns versus 1,000. And crown packs and ESO, the game itself, are all on sale on all the different platforms. So you can buy the game for cheap, and you can buy crowns for cheap. So that is the Black Friday sale.
That starter pack is actually really good. I mean, never mind the Black Friday special bundle. The starter pack, especially since it gives 500 crowns to everyone that starts the game now.
Well, yeah, on the if you were doing the free to play, that might be something that's worth buying because right there's a mount, a pet, and a few other little things. Then if you keep the game, great. Honestly, I would have probably bought that starter pack had I not already had the Destria from before. Like I bought it when it was available before. But that's a good deal. Even if you don't care about the consumables like most people don't, it's still cheaper than what the mount was before. So it's just kind of like, oh, here's the mount for cheaper than what it was before. That's why I bought the Black Friday special with the mount, because the mount's 1,900 crowns. Camels generally aren't that expensive, but most of the medium price for mounts is about 2K crowns. Medium price. Some of the more special ones are higher. Some of the more ordinary ones are lower, but 1,900 about a nice average. So I'm like, okay, and I get 10 experience scrolls, which, hey, you know what? Fine. I mean, I'll use them if I'm going to level an alt, or if I'm CP grinding, which I actually don't need that much more CP to be capped, so that might not be necessary. But they're useful, right? Like, hold on to them. So it wasn't that big of a deal. So I got that. And all the other stuff, of course, with crowns being on sale, it's pretty nice. So yeah, I'm just checking. Everyone says that the audio is still good, so I'm glad. And I actually figured out what the audio problem was Why our audio is so good when we did our test recording arc is because I wasn't using OBS, and OBS actually does a boost.
Ah, nice.
And that's also why I think I figured out why our audio was so different last week, was because it boosts my desktop audio as well, so it boosted you guys.
Yeah,
So you were boosted above. It is.
And I just got a mail that my new microphone is dispatched from Amazon, so I guess there's no turning back.
There's, I mean, hey, we do podcasts, so can't be a bad thing. So
yeah.
All right. So there was a hotfix on the 22nd because the Aetheric Cipher was not dropping as it was supposed to. So there was really no patch to download, and you didn't need to relog for the patch to take effect because it was just a hotfix. But I'm assuming that the odds are the drop rates on these were so botched that it was rarer than what it was even supposed to be. So I think
I spent my limited precious time grinding for these only to find out that the drop rate was off. So I'm sad. And maybe I could have gotten a few of these and become more rich than I already am.
All right.
But
Well,
it is what it is.
yeah, not a lot you can honestly do about it, but they did hotfix it because I know a lot of people were like, it was so rare. They were looking at their metrics and going, wow, not a lot of people actually got this, so maybe there's a somebody, it's kind of like that the movie Office Space where they were trying to steal a penny off of everything, and the guy messed up where the decimal point went, and by the time they checked it the next day, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's like, I probably moved the decimal place over too far, so instead of it being 1 penny, it's $1, and now we're... yeah. So someone messed up the decimal place. It was supposed to be 1%, now it's 0.01%, Oops, my bad, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, they fixed that, apparently. Toybox in chat, is ESO still worth subscribing? We're gonna answer that question. Arc, ESO, is it still worth subscribing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if nothing, the fact that you can access the DLCs and that crafting bag.
Yep.
Crafting bag is a life changer. That's definitely a must-have thing, because
unless you want to play the game. Because once you have the crafting bag, you have to pick up everything. Like, even bugs. You're like, ooh, bug parts. They're not taking up space anymore. It's an infinite bag. Yeah. My actual gameplay may have went up with crafting bags, but the actual things that I've completed has went down. Because, ooh, shiny. I'm just going to pick that up. So, is ESO still worth subscribing? If you are playing any healthy amount of time, it's worth subscribing, because like you said, you can access all the DLC. You don't have to buy it, so it's just there, and the crafting bags are really good. If you're already maxed out on your crafting and your levels, the experience and the inspiration boost aren't really that good. The gold drop is minuscule. Like the 10% extra bonuses that you get for being an ESO Plus subscriber, they're not bad when you're leveling, but if you're already kind of near the max, it doesn't matter. Like if you're already CP capped, what's an extra 10% experience? Yeah, you keep earning CP, but what's the matter? You're capped. You can't use it. And even when they raise the cap, you'll just be capped again. So it's like,
Even when leveling, I don't really consider them as a bonus, because, compared to the other stuff that ESO Plus gives, they are too trivial, I guess. It's the word.
Yeah.
10% isn't really going to affect much of your progress.
Right.
Considering that you can already purchase experience boost potions in the game and stuff like that. It's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's all cumulative, though. So, it does add, the 10% plus the... But, if you're not in that point, and, I mean, if you are playing every day, or at least playing a couple times a week where, it's a regular game of yours that you're playing, not just something you pick up once a month, then yes, it's worth subscribing. Doubly so if you're a crafter, because those craft bags are amazing. If you're just going to sell everything you pick up anyway, maybe you won't get as much use out of the crafting bags. It's nice, but if you're automatically oh, I picked this up, I'm just going to sell it, then you don't need crafting bags. Mm-hmm. So that's... The DLC is great, like I said, being able to access the DLC anytime you want. But if this isn't a game that you're playing a considerable portion of your game time to, I would say maybe it's not worth subscribing.
Even if you are not playing all the time, my idea about that is that you can subscribe for 1 month.
Yeah.
That will give you 1,500 crowns. And during that 1 month, you can complete the DLCs, or 2 months, I don't know. You can complete some of the DLCs. And if you are not going to continue playing, or if you don't want to continue subscribing, you can use those crowns you saved from being an ESO subscriber to purchase the DLCs that you haven't played.
Mm-hmm.
So you can continue playing the DLCs, and you can continue doing this as new DLCs arrive, or as you want to play the game.
Right.
So,
and if you sub for 2 months,
I think it works.
2 months or 3 months, I can't remember how much it is now. But they do have a combo pack, so you can get all the first 4 DLCs: Imperial City, Wrothgar, Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild. So you can save up and have all those, if that's what you want. So it is what it is, if you do crafting and you collect crafting stuffs, absolutely, the crafting bags are amazing. But I know people who don't craft at all, and if they happen to get a temper or something, it automatically goes on a guild store. If you're not holding materials, it's not as useful, right? And if you're not crafting, you're not going to stop and pick up stuff, right? You're not going to mine that iron node because you're like, I'm not a crafter. What do I care, right? Because iron also has the lowest chance of giving you tempers anyway. So it's you're refining it without putting points into crafting. You're essentially wasting your time anyway, because when you refine it, if you don't have the points in the crafting skill, the chances of you getting a temper are very low. So what is the point? I don't know.
Which is why you do it like me. You max out every crafting skill, but you still sell everything you get.
No, I hold everything. Toy Box says, I collect everything. It's insane. I do the same thing, man. I'll be running around following Ark and all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm following you. Oh, wait, shiny. I'm heading towards a quest location, right? I'm just, okay, I'm heading up there. Gotta save this town from orcs. All right, let's do... Oh, there's a flower. All right. I just picked that up. It's right along my way. Huh. There's a mine node. It's just over there. I'm just gonna run over. And by the time I realize it, I'm on the other side of the map and nowhere near the quest I was working on anyway. ESO has new functionality on Steam, guys.
Quick correction. Actually, this is not new.
It's Ark. You're quiet. Ark, you're quiet. You're still talking. Nope, still talking. Still can't hear you, Ark. Alright, so while Ark's working on figuring out why he's still muted, I'm going to just read this real quick, because this came out on November 2nd. We're happy to announce that the Elder Scrolls Online now offers convenient new functionality with Steam. This means that starting today, our players on PC and Mac can now seamlessly launch and play ESO directly from Steam client and more. There's a couple how-to guides on how to get it to link correctly and how to link your Steam version of ESO with your Steam account. Please note that if you are a current ESO player on Steam, you will now need to fully uninstall and reinstall the game in order for the new ESO Steam client functionality to work. Okay? There will be a fix in the future, so it's not necessary. There is something I do note on here, that this does not grant you a free copy of Steam. It's just you're able now to link old accounts into Steam if you already have, as long as you bought a copy of it. Yeah, is your audio any better? Nope, you're still. Try unmuting on Skype, like we did before. There, I can hear you now. Now I can't. What did you just do? I just heard you. Yeah. Nope. We're having some audio.
Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you right now.
Okay, now you are hearing me through Skype. I see that in Discord, it's picking up my voice. I get this green thing around my nickname, but I guess it doesn't work.
Well, I'm hearing you now, and I'm not hearing the reverb, so...
That's because I'm speaking to you through Skype right now, not Discord, because Discord isn't picking it up.
Okay.
I actually muted Discord completely.
Oh, well,
So
okay.
maybe,
Whatever. We'll just keep
Yeah.
going like that.
whatever works, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, all right.
If the audio quality is still good, if the chat can confirms that, if Skype doesn't messes up, I guess we can continue like that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds okay from my end, but we'll let them go from there. But, I mean, we'll have to do what we can. One of the reasons why we're doing a lot of this testing as well, and I'm going to kind of spill the beans a little early, is because we're looking at doing an ESO call-in show. I'm inspired by it, and I'm actually going to shout them out because this is not my idea. It's actually another podcast idea, and they've been doing it for a long time. Limit Break Radio and Final Encounter Cast, some of the best podcasting out there. Like, their audio quality is top notch. They're a little rough around the edges, so take that into account. But their audio quality is amazing, and they do a call-in show. And what I'm looking to do is via Discord. I didn't really want to use Skype because I hate Skype. I just hate it. I didn't want to use Skype for a call-in show because then it messes with our camera overlays and it's just a pain. But if we're recording audio via our Discord channel, which a lot of our community is in anyway, we'll be able to pull in people when we bring up discussion topics. So if you have something you want to add, we can bring you in, without messing up any of our overlays on our video feed, and allow you to say your piece, and then kick you to the curb again. I'm just kidding, but seriously, kick you to the curb. So that's why we're testing it via Discord as well. So if you're listening to the podcast and you enjoy that and it's something that you're interested, we record live on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. And join our Discord channel, and you might get a chance to yell at us in person or agree with us. Whatever. I don't know. I don't really care. So that is why there's been so much talk about is our audio okay? Because we're doing some testing kind of on the fly to see if this is something viable. What is the name of your Discord? I'm actually going to post in chat, so... Ark, why don't you continue your thought that you were saying before while I get this out here?
Actually, the Steam functionality thing is not new. It was posted on November 2, and I actually missed it for 2 episodes back then. But we talked about it with... I don't know, I can't remember the episodes I did exactly. I have to re-listen to them. But either way... it actually works now, even if you don't uninstall and reinstall the game, because I believe they fixed it because it worked for me even without doing the uninstall reinstall thing, so I guess it works now. But basically, it's a great thing. I believe Krabby also got the game during the during the sale, the Steam sale, so if you don't mind I guess it's $10 or something like that. If you don't mind the price, it's actually worth getting it on Steam.
Yeah, no, it's... I don't... And this isn't me. I know some people really enjoy that functionality of, hey, I like having all my stuff through Steam. I don't get it. It's not my thing, but I know some people who are diehard about getting it in Steam, getting their trophies. That's great. I mean, and I'm glad they offered it. it's not my thing, and I don't think I would even spend. I shouldn't say that because I spent the $20 to get the console version of this just because it's like I'm supporting ESO. It's $20, and if I ever want to play on console, they ported my account over. Whatever. So I probably would do it. So I don't know.
One thing about this Steam functionality is that if you are playing on 2 servers, like I do, what this does is that it directly connects you to the game, directly sends you to the character selection screen
Okay.
before you can actually select, enter your ID, username, password, and select the server. So if you want to switch servers, you have to actually log back out to the login screen, switch servers, and log back in. So that might be a little annoying, but I guess it's not a big deal, just a warning. Or, if you try it and directly get logged into a different server, in case you get confused. So there's that.
Right. All right. So, let's see here. All right. Well, I think that's the end of our news, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
There weren't really news this week.
Well, we didn't, but we do actually have a discussion that was prompted by an email. So we're going to dig on into our old email box, which, by the way, if anyone wants to email the show and get your thoughts out here, our email box has been empty for a while. So, contact at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. Send us your thoughts. So there you go. Ark, why don't you read this since it's addressed to you?
Okay. This was from Talos the Cat on Twitter, actually.
Okay.
Hey Arkhaniir, big fan of the podcast. Thank you. We are glad people are enjoying this still. I'm wondering if you'd like ZOS to implement more immersive backgrounds in ESO's character selection screen. An example, if your character's current location is in Cyrodiil, then the background for just that character would be Cyrodiil. Instead of having 3 generic backgrounds, one for each alliance, I proposed this idea on Reddit if you want to check it out, support it, or discuss it. So I thought we could bring it up during the show and discuss it, along with other ideas to how to make Elder Scrolls Online more immersive. This is actually on Reddit, you can find it and discuss it, and I completely agree with this idea. Mainly because the character selection screen is the best place to take a screenshot of your character. The lighting is perfect, the field of view is really good, everything is there, your pet and your mount is behind you in a good position for a screenshot. So if they also made the backgrounds with more variety, that would be definitely nice.
I agree. Actually, Talos the Cat, shout out to him. He messaged me as well on this. And yeah, I agree. I gave it a upvote because I thought it was pretty neat discussion. And yeah, it's like being wherever I logged out, it'd be awesome if they were able to just take. I mean, it can't be that difficult to get that screen because they've done it for these various areas, and you can tell, like, I mean, it's probably not taken directly from the game itself. It's probably somewhat stylized. Would they waste? I shouldn't say waste development time. Would they put development time in on something like this? Seems like I don't know if they would. But then again, other developers wouldn't do this. Like, they wouldn't waste their time on something so minuscule. But they kind of snuck that in with the mount and the pet thing a few patches ago. And they didn't really say they were working on it or anything like that. It's just, I logged in during the PTS and went, wait, my mount and my character and my costume are now showing? That's awesome. Because, I mean, costumes was another thing. It would only show your normal gear. It wouldn't, if you're wearing a costume, it wouldn't show that. It now does. And some people might think that's dumb, or that's like, why would people waste their time on that? But to me, that was something that was really cool. I was like, that works for me. I like that.
It was horrible to see your actual gear, which is something meshed up together from all those drop sets, and it looks absolutely ugly.
Yep.
It was horrible. Like, you log out, you're pretty with your costume, and you log back in, get to the character selection screen, and you realize how ugly your character is. It's sad. It's It's bad.
It,
So,
it is. It is very sad.
it was, actually.
Yeah, it's not now. I mean, I'm still waiting for them to release the gear for mercenary armor. So like a costume of mercenary armor. So that way I can wear full mercenary and then still wear the gear that I want.
Still waiting for the transmog.
That would be even better. That would be even better. Yes, that would even be better. I agree. Or even
I guess they are just...
no, I was gonna say even
just...
vanity slots type deal, like where one thing that really fascinated me, and maybe this would be something that they would never do because it'd be kind of like you can wear a costume to kind of hide the type of armor you're wearing, but I don't really know if that really matters even in PvP. But what about the ability to completely change your weapon? Meaning, like, it might be difficult, but like the reason it comes to mind is EverQuest 2. I played EverQuest 2 for all of 10 minutes, okay? Like, it was just kind of like, okay, I'll try it. It didn't really grab me. But one of the things that when I logged in, they gave me was a two-handed sword, which was a vanity item. That when I put on, I was playing a paladin character, so I was wielding a sword and shield. But it looked like I was swinging a two-handed weapon.
I mean, I don't know. It sounds like it could cause a lot of problems with the animations and stuff like that.
Yeah. Animations would probably be the hardest thing that I think.
Yeah.
The gear itself doesn't really make too much of a deal. But animations, you're right. Like, I'm thinking to myself, this is coming from my Templar self, because my Templar only really uses biting jabs anyway. My spammable is biting jabs, so it always looks the same anyway. You lose your weapon, you get a glowing spear, you stabby, pokey, pokey. So you lose the appearance of the weapon anyway. But other classes who may, use specific things, yeah, like if I
imagine that you are critical rushing, but you are holding a, I don't know, bow as a vanity. What will happen?
This is true. It is true. The funny part is I didn't even think about the range side of things, but you're right. It would look really weird if I'm sitting there performing Executioner with a bow. I'm just going to sit there, beat you over the head with this bow. Here, I'll just tie this string around your neck. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm all for vanity, obviously. Fix the hair. But yeah, no, I like the idea of vanity, but there's certain levels where you can't anymore. But I would still prefer the ability to change the looks of things. Like if I managed, the reason why I say this, one of the things that I would pick up, I hate the monster helms. Like just some people like them, that's fine, and this is 100% personal. Right? It's an aesthetic, but everyone's aesthetic is different, right? But I personally think the monster helms are gross. I don't really...
They're ugly.
Yeah, they're ugly.
They don't fit. And they only offer one shoulder.
Yeah.
Why is it not symmetrical?
Yeah,
why
right?
There is only one shoulder piece.
I actually kind of like the one shoulder, but that's me. Again, you and I are talking like you're like one shoulder is like it's not symmetrical. I don't like it. I, on the other hand, like the one shoulder look and wish more things had that option. But in general, like they kind of throw off your whole look, and but the stats are too good to give up, right? Like they're like really good, so why would you want to give them up? Well, if you're able to change the appearance to make it look like any piece of armor you wanted, then you wouldn't have to give up the stats to get the looks you want. I don't know if that really plays into the immersion side of things, but to me it kind of does, because it allows me to enter my character. This is what my character would be, and my character being a Templar is not the whole idea of monster helms. Is it supposed to be a grisly trophy that's supposed to instill fear into your enemy? Okay, like if you're this is why like in like native tribes and stuff like that would wear skulls around their necks, and so it was an intimidation tactic. You see a guy coming at you and he's got body parts of your friends on it, you're starting to go, oh, hey, I don't really want to fight this guy. And it's an intimidation tactic. So that's the whole idea. You wear a bearskin cloak, it's an intimidation tactic going, that guy killed a bear. If he killed a bear, what is he able to do, right? But my character, myself, being a Templar, worshipping the divines, that kind of stuff, he's not into the grisly trophies, right? Thais is upstairs playing Just Dance with my son. So if you can hear her going, woo! Just as a note. So she might get a kick out of that when I tell her. People might have been able to hear her, but anyway. But, my character, the way I'm playing the character is he wouldn't put forth that grisly trophy. He doesn't see that need, right? That's not how he is. So...
I mean, my character is probably more uglier and more intimidating than the bear heads or anything.
Well, that's true. I like that.
Seen on the... Yeah,
I like it. I was going to say, your character's very intimidating, because isn't it dead?
No, this isn't Arkhaniir Silver.
Oh, it's a different one. Okay.
Yeah, this was York Hammarmund, so it's Hammerhand or something like that.
Okay, all right.
Sweden or...
I like it.
Nordic languages, yeah.
I like it. It's just, we were talking about Arkhaniir Silver Shield, and you're like, yeah, he's very intimidating. I'm like, how can he be intimidating? He's dead.
I mean, Ark is not intimidating, definitely. He's the red guard dancing all over the place.
Oh, yeah, he's naked all the time. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Ark, what about you? What could they do to make things more immersive?
One thing, I've mentioned this before, I guess, but I'll mention it again, is that the pets we have, the panthers, the Dwarven Sapphire, the Ice Wraith, whatever, all those pets that actually attack you in the wild. When we have them as a pet, they don't do anything, and it annoys me. I mean, why do I have that as a follower if they are not going to do anything and just stand there doing nothing, or, digging the ground, something like that? I wish they had some combat animations, combat stuff with 0 damage. I don't want them to actually do anything, but I want to see them doing stuff when I'm fighting people. So that's one thing.
No, I think that would be very neat, just to be like seeing whatever their personality is. It would be neat to see them do that. Like, if it's like a house cat or something, it doesn't even have to attack. It can literally run and hide, or anything like that to fit in. Yeah, I agree. That'd be very neat. That'd be very neat. I mean, they already added it with some of the in a limited way. They added it with some of the older or the newer pets that came out, where they add special animations like the bear who plays with butterflies and stuff like that weren't originally available with the original pets way back when.
Yeah.
But it'd be neat to see that those idle animations happen based on stimuli, what is happening around them.
I mean, the mechanic is in the game. When you have an NPC follower during a quest, they follow you around, they do attack stuff, but they deal close to 0 damage.
Right.
They can implement the same thing into pets, and it would be lovely to see my pet actually trying to do something, rather than just standing there watching me get killed. I mean, I don't die, but still, the point stands. Also, I confused myself back there, because I was looking at this stream, and since it's following from a few seconds behind, I saw you talking, but obviously I was talking and you were being silent, but my brain wasn't able to comprehend what was happening, and I was like, what's happening right now? Why is he talking, but what's going on?
He's talking, but I'm not hearing words.
Yeah.
What is going on? Yeah.
I wasn't able to process it.
Right.
And another point which I actually managed to remember,
Okay.
the thing I was talking about before the show, The fact that Innkeepers doesn't sell actual drinks, it annoys me. I go to an Innkeeper, and he sells poisons. What the hell? You're an Innkeeper. You're supposed to sell meat. You're supposed to sell Cyrodiilic brandy. I don't know, Flynn. You're not
Right.
supposed to sell some weird Daedric poison.
And
That's not how it works.
and to
That's
piggyback
not your
off
job
that,
description.
I would love to see either versions of or even craftable ones that, for a few seconds. Here's the thing. World of Warcraft does it, and which I really, really love, is they actually have consumable items, which are alcoholic drinks, that really don't provide a benefit, but you can get drunk. And when you're drunk, your screen fuzzes, and when you walk, like you're holding your W key to walk, your character moves like this, like they wave back and forth. You cannot walk a straight line when you're drunk. And it only lasts for like 30 seconds. You drink something, you're drunk, it's like you feel a little tipsy, and you can see your screen start to fuzz just a little bit. The more you drink, when your flavor text finally says you're totally hammered, your entire screen is fuzzy. When you're walking, it's funny, if you're riding like a flying mount or something, your mouth's just going, you can't, it's all over the place. It's really funny, and I get it that it's silly and doesn't really add much to the game mechanic-wise, but that's the immersion. That's just something that's fun. And one of the games that they do, Brewfest, for instance, in WoW, they make the mini games fun because it's like one of the mini games is you got to ride a ram and you got to pick up a keg and bring it back. Well, that's not hard. But in order to do it, they time it, and they also make you drink, so your mount goes all over the place. Like, you can't physically make him walk straight, so you're constantly, like, you're holding W to go straight, and your character's weaving off the side, so you gotta counter steer the entire time. No, get over that. Those little random things are what really add to immersion for me. And like role play events or just being silly, going out to an inn somewhere, buying something for like a 1 gold piece that allows you to get drunk and your screen fuzzes. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, they might not do that because of the drunk personality. Now that it's in the store and they are actually selling it, but they could add stuff like that, and that would be lovely. Also, I just found out that they are passing the background idea to the development team. The Elder Scrolls Online's official Twitter actually replied to Talos the Cat, saying that they are passing the idea to the development team.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
We might get it after all.
There was while you were talking, I jumped on the alcohol, and there was something else I was trying to remember that I would make the game more immersive. Real life weather. How would you like to enter a zone? Like, you ever play the Frostfall mod or the Real Hunger and Food mods?
Yeah.
See,
One of my favorites.
the real eating and drinking thing maybe wouldn't work for...
Yeah, that would be too much for...
Too much for the majority. Like, here's the thing. Walking through Immersion, I would love to see something like that, but this game wasn't built from the ground up as a survival game. So they're not going to make you eat and drink. But what about if it was a special zone or something that you were able to log into, and for that thing you had to, I don't know, like put on something in your costume slot for warm weather that you had to collect, or else you took frost damage. Like, what do you think?
I probably would spend all of my time in that zone if they actually did something like that, a survival zone kind of stuff. But I can also see all the bugs that comes with it. Like, you are out of the zone, but you still have the debuff or stuff like that. So
Right.
I don't think they will ever do it, even if that were presented as a great idea. But yeah, I would definitely stay in that zone.
Nice. All right. Anything else for immersion before we move on? maybe. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I mean, I had at least one more idea. But
Okay.
as I said, I forgot it.
Right.
Write it down, and now I can't remember it. So
Part of the immersion for me that maybe will come back with housing is, you know how the lore books just disappear? I would love for them to be physical items that you could pick up and put in your house, and maybe that will happen when housing comes out. But that would be something for immersion that I would love to see, being able to pick up the lore books in the game and bringing them into your house and stacking them in my library, and then having to pull everything out of your library because you have to do it in alphabetical order, and you just picked up a book that started with C, so you have to rip out everything from where it fits and replace it back on your bookshelf.
that'll probably require a whole new mechanic to, because they'll have to make a whole new bookshelf
Right.
for it to work, I guess. But I mean, I hope they give the housing as much details as they can.
Right.
Because it would be sad to have a house and not be able to actually, do stuff in it, go for all the details. Oh, immersion thing. Yeah, I remember with the housing. I want to be able to sit on chairs, benches, and stuff like that.
Without
Especially
using
when
the
we get
sit
housing.
chair command, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, imagine you have a house, you have all these chairs, tables, everything is set up, you crafted everything or purchased everything, but you can't use any of them. All you can do is stand next to them and maybe drink.
I know that was actually something that way back in beta, people were asking, like, are we going to be able to sit in chairs? And the development team's like, no. But then they kind of compromised with doing the /sit chair. So that way you pulled a chair out of who knows where and you could sit. But you're right. When housing comes out, a lot of the furniture, is it just going to be places that are sat there, or are there going to be some sort of function with them? Like chairs, for instance, being able to line up to a chair and sit on it was something that, it's neat, right? Like, I like doing that. That's pretty cool, or is it just going to be a stationary thing that's, once I set it there, you can't pull it out? Some games let you do that, some don't. I'm trying to remember if Final Fantasy 14 allows you to sit in chairs. And it's drawing a blank on me right now. I wish Broden was online. He could tell me. But I know for, like, beds, for instance, you can't, it's not like you can get into the bed. You could stand on it and then do /lay, and then it looks like you're laying in bed, which is fine. But I can't remember if chairs are something that you can actually physically sit on.
I mean, I can understand that actually giving the furniture functionality in a crowded, open to everyone area. It could cause problems because everyone would try to sit on each other, and that might create the glitches and stuff like that. But in your house, it will be open to limited players. So I guess they might make the furniture different in mechanic and allow us to sit on them or sleep in the bed, whatever.
Right. And that would be cool. That would be immersion. That would be amazing to have. Real day-night cycles. Okay? Now, hear me out here. Different things come out at night. Okay?
Yeah.
And in different weather. So, or maybe even things are more dangerous depending on weather. The thing that I'm thinking most of, thunderbugs, right? Like, you see them a lot, they shoot electricity. What if they got double damage if it was raining? Because, water conducts electricity. So if it's raining, all of a sudden you're like, great, now they're even more dangerous. Or Wamasu, for instance, more dangerous when weather is out there. Or at nighttime, different monsters appear versus daytime. If you're in the day, you're out in Skyrim or whatever, all your mammoths are, they're out grazing, they're doing whatever. At night, they're asleep, but maybe saber-tooths come out, things like that. We already have that for certain things, like werewolves and vampires.
Yeah, I
They
was about to ask that if they still...
They do that, yeah. They spawn, like werewolves are based on the moon or something like that, and only during night. And that's how you can get infected, is if you can find one of these spawn locations, but they're timed spawn locations. So the mechanic is available. It would just be kind of neat to see monsters spawn and despawn based on what time it was. During the day, you would have a different set of monsters than maybe at night. Maybe at night being a little bit more dangerous, you know? Or even, I would love it if they actually added in a zone where darkness mattered. You know, like you can't just turn your gamma up. You actually have to carry a torch with you, you know? I know for gameplay-wise, that might not be, you know, like you wouldn't do that in a speedrun type thing, but some games, like Guild Wars 2, for instance, made special zones that were designed around this darkness mechanic. One of them being a jumping puzzle where you had to go through an ancient dwarven ruin. So when you're in there, it is pitch black, right? And you're walking, but they have these, like you couldn't really carry a torch, you know, you couldn't carry a torch, but you could pick up a torch, which will let you carry, and you could throw it with a targeting reticule, and it's like, and then it hit the ground to give you a little bit of light, and that's how you had to make your way, because as you're throwing the torch, you're realizing, okay, I'm walking on essentially a narrow stone path where each side I'm falling off, so you're throwing a torch to try to figure out where the holes are so you could jump over it.
I mean, they could even make use of some of the mementos for that. Like, you know, the Almalexia's lantern.
Yeah.
It actually gives off light when you activate it. But everything is already visible, so it's useless.
Yeah. That'd be awesome if there was a way that they could incorporate something along those lines, that you had to have something out, or else it was very, very dark.
I would also love to see, I mean, it's not really immersion maybe, but actual puzzles that is actually hard to solve.
Rift did that. Rift actually had one puzzle per zone. Some were harder than others, that you had to figure out in order to get a reward. I would like to see puzzles in this game that tie it to an achievement, make it difficult, you know?
Yeah.
And try to figure it out. Yeah, I would love to see something like that. That would be very
make
cool.
It randomized in some way, so you know you can't actually find it on
yeah.
YouTube or anything, because it's randomized completely for everyone.
There was actually there were several of them like that in Rift that you could only write very generic guides because it didn't reset per person. Okay. So if someone went up there, it's like, okay, in order for you to enter this thing, you have to turn this statue 3 times, this statue 4 times, this statue once. Well, if someone went in there and messed it up and was trying to figure it out, you wouldn't know how many times you had to turn it because it saved their progress. So if I'm in there just spinning statues and go, screw it, I can't figure it out, and I leave, you don't come in and go, okay, I can follow this, I just have to turn this statue 4 times because it was however I left it. So you have to figure out the puzzle by sitting there staring at it and going, okay, when I turn this, okay, this moves here. Oh, you know, like there were different things you had to do. I'm going to throw this cat out. Like, seriously, this cat's going to die.
You need to get a new Khajiit spray.
This cat stuck her head in this bag. I need new Khajiit spray. I just keep hearing this wrinkling down there, and she's sticking her head in this empty bag, trying to get what's ever in it. She's going to be the death of me. And now she's up here. Seriously, this cat is going to be the death of me. But, yeah, no.
Another thing
I
had back in the days, an idea I just remembered, is that, you know how Riften has a broken wall?
Yep.
At one side because who was that? Sinmur,
or
whether the giant one destroyed it, and you complete the quest. Time passes, stuff happens, and that wall is still broken. Now, it would be a bad idea to maybe instance the area to, you know, if you complete the quest and a certain time has passed, you are in a fixed version of Riften. It might reduce the population. and might, destroy the idea behind the one Tamriel to make it more populated. But there could be certain...
Not if they allow you to join phases. And I mean, they've done this already. Look at Hrothgar. Hrothgar, the city gets better as you do quests.
Yeah.
You know?
And my idea was to implement maybe a weekly quest for that zone.
Oh, to rebuild the wall.
Yeah, or maybe that, or I don't know. What was I going to say? I just forgot. I'm drawing a blank.
It could even be like a server-wide quest too, that like an entire server works on.
Like a world event.
Yeah,
And
people are turning stuff in or doing, like crafters are making stuff. It's like, oh, you're just like we do the crafting writs. You do the crafting writs, they say, thank you for this, this will help the war effort, blah, 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 blah. And then you never see it again. Well, what if there was something like that you could do, and as you were doing it, and it could be something like, Guild Wars 2 does this with their Living World story, where they actually change the world based on what people are doing. Now, it's not like the players can make huge choices. They already know what's going to happen, but they make players participate. Like, they develop all this, and they go, okay, crafters, we need you to turn in writs. Guard, combat characters, talk to this guard, he'll tell you to do this. And once the server hits a certain number of quests done, they activate that, once the entire server pulls off and does, 10,000 quests altogether, whatever they are, we will increase the completion of the wall by 25%. My son just threw something down the stairs. And then over time, as people are doing these daily quests or weekly quests and stuff like that, more and more of the wall is being finished.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see the world change around you as you progress through the game. It's always fun to see that, and it's always a huge element of the immersion.
Right.
Maybe one of the biggest elements of the immersion. I don't know.
And it's very cool at that point, too, because in the various games I've been a part of that does this, Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft did it when they brought in Cataclysm, stuff like that, is you get to point back because it creates that nostalgia moment. So when new players come in, they see Riften and it's complete. You're like, I remember when that wall wasn't there anymore because some giant knocked it over. And we all had to get together and, build the wall back up. Guild Wars 2, I remember going to the original Lion's Arch before Scarlet Briar, destroyed it. I remember this zone back when it was a fertile farmland before a giant, dragon broke through it, and now it's crap. As the game world changes, it does create that level of remember when. That nostalgia feeling of, I remember when it used to look like this. And these are the events. And it creates a story that you can tell new players of, well, when I played this zone looked like this. Now it looks a little different because of these events. You weren't here for that, but let me tell you about them. And that's awesome, right? Because I've been playing Guild Wars 2 since it came out. It's actually the game that got me interested in podcasting to begin with. I never hosted my own for it, but I joined people. And seeing the game world from when it first released 4 or 5 years ago to where it's at now, whole zones are different because of their living world story, which they've chosen how it's going to happen, but the players still play it out. So they're like, okay, the developers designed this zone's getting destroyed, but let's let the players for the next 2 weeks do these daily quests that lead up to what's happening, right? So players are in there playing around going, oh, we're helping out or whatever, and then all of a sudden, we finished it, it's great. Oh, crud, giant dragon popped out of the ground. Now what do we do? It's neat to see that. And it's a level of immersion because it makes the world feel alive.
Yeah. And that would be lovely.
It definitely would.
Elder Scrolls Online is definitely one of the, I didn't play a lot of MMORPGs, but maybe because I love Elder Scrolls, ESO feels like one of the most immersive MMORPGs or games out there.
The lore of the world helps. Because we have so much, this is definitely one of the most story-driven and feels like a living world. But I will say that I was telling you pre-show, one of the things that I miss most when I play Warcraft is something that seems silly in game. Like, I run by tables in ESO, and I know I can pick it up, but I don't. But when I'm playing WoW and I run by and see a sword on a table, I can't pick it up. And I go, oh. Like, that level of immersion's there in ESO, and I almost take it for granted till you're in a game that doesn't have it. You know, like pickpocketing, for instance, and killing NPCs, like things like that that you take for granted that you might not even do on a daily basis because you're like, I got other stuff to do. But when you can't do it anymore is when you go, oh yeah, you know, that does exist.
I mean, it just reminded me that when you say we are taking them for granted, actually, I started taking the entire justice system for granted too, but do you remember how we freaked out when they first announced it?
Oh.
We were able to steal everything, kill pretty much every NPC in the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. No, that was
It feels
awesome.
like a normal thing now. But back then, it didn't exist, and I don't know, I don't know where I'm going with this thought, but...
No, when you
definitely
stop
one
to
of
think
those-
about it, yeah,
Yeah.
And if you start playing other games where that's not available, that's when you notice it and go, oh yeah, that's not here anymore. Like, or is not part of this game, but I wish it was. And that's actually one of the reasons why I really wish they would have allowed us to keep the PvP system of the justice system going, because that would have really brought the immersion in there, because then I could hunt down thieves, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I liked that. That was something that was cool, and I'm really sad that they took that away. Because that would have made the world even more realistic, because then it would have brought PvP into the game where it wasn't before. You know?
I wonder if they'll ever reconsider that idea.
I hope they do. Robot in chat says, accidentally killing NPCs when you hit the wrong button, get a bounty, and have to run for your life because you have good loot on you. Annoying, but funny. It is, and it's... I know they gave options for people to turn it off, and again, that's something where it's like, hey, you know, why couldn't you do this thing? Like, it was a flag system. Right? Like, you had to flag. If you're stealing stuff, you're accepting the risk of being attacked by guards, which, by the way, the guards are unkillable and very strong and CC and stun like crazy. Why shouldn't you also have to worry about players? You know? Like, and I think the player thing should only happen if you're spotted by guards, right? Like, like a player character can't, like, you know, whatever you or whatever. You know, maybe they can, maybe they can't. Like, I don't know how they could do it, but they need to make a way of being spotted. And once you're spotted, then you're like a free-for-all PvP target. That'd be great. You know, people to come to justice. Like, and I know they said they were worried about it being exploited. Then just don't give the people gold, or make it like, you know, a slightly better mob or something. Like, make it so they drop the same amount of gold as frickin' I don't know, a normal mob. You kill a player, you get 67 gold pieces. All right. Well, what's going to stop me? You know, how am I exploiting this? Why can't I just go out and kill those mobs over there for the same 67 gold, and they always respawn? You know, like, there's ways of bringing immersion into the game, and doing this without breaking the game, right? You know?
I probably mentioned this before, but back in middle grade or something, I used to play this free-to-play MMORPG called Silk Road Online. It was based on the idea of, you know, it's Silk Road, it's trading, the caravans and stuff. So there were 3 jobs in that game. You could be a trader, you could be a thief, you could be a hunter. They required you to put a different costume on.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it declared you as a thief, hunter, or a trader, and it actually unlocks the mechanic for you. So if you don't have the costume on, the mechanics doesn't bother you. You can continue doing whatever you want. It's like turning on and off the justice system. So the idea is the trader gets goods from one city, and travels to the other. The thief tries to kill him. The hunters try to protect it. So even it's not a really quality game, but the system worked awesome, amazingly. So that makes me think, if ZeniMax Online had actually wanted to implement this, they probably can do it.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't know why they turned away from it. Like, that's what's really confusing to me. Like, why would they even go away from it at all? There's a lot of... I know the excuse they gave us kind of felt like a cop-out to me. Like, oh, we feel like it could be exploited. But there's so many ways you could turn around to make it unexploitable. Even to the point, like, even if you offered a bounty, like, you kill someone, you get a bounty of, I don't know, 1,000 gold. Oh, what if they just, like... Then make a 30-minute debuff timer on it or something. You cannot receive a bounty for another 30 minutes by killing another player. You can kill as many players as you want, but you're not going to get the bounty gold, right? I mean, 1,000 gold or anything like that. You could make it so that there was a certain level to it where it's like, okay, you know, or a cap on bounties or anything. There's multiple things you could do. Like, there's a cap right now on the amount of stuff you can turn in and sell. You could put the same cap per day on the amount of bounties you can collect by killing people, right? Like, there's safeguards in place that you could actually bring in that the excuse they gave us of it being exploitable, I don't buy, right?
Yeah.
I just don't buy it. I'm actually trying to stall for a little bit, but I don't know if anyone's going to come in. But yeah. All right. Well, anything else for Immersion?
I don't know. I dig deep into my brain and pulled out every idea I can.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's it from me.
Oh, no, that works. It was a good discussion. Let's go ahead and move right on into the Tales section then. What have you been doing this week?
Pretty much nothing.
Nothing.
Because I didn't have time this week. It's been quite busy.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah.
But some of my friends started playing the game, so it's mostly answering their questions or logging in to show them something. That's what I've been doing in Elder Scrolls Online lately.
All right.
Because they've been... That made me think, actually. I wanted to bring this up. Elder Scrolls Online is quite difficult to learn. If you are not... Yeah, if you are a new player, it's really difficult to learn. The entire trade system, the research system, feeding your horse, stuff like that, all those actually miss out when you are first starting the game. And a friend of mine has been playing for a few months now, and there are still stuff that he doesn't realize, or he goes like, when I show him, he goes like, what? Was it like that? So, I don't know, there may be some, they could improve the tutorials, I guess, or the documentation, whatever, for the new players. That I was thinking about that earlier. So
I actually got a request from a couple people who just started playing again to, kind of maybe break down what has gone on in the game since then. Yes, I just got a message. Yes, Thais, people can hear you singing upstairs. It's funny. She's up there. People can still hear her. It's funny. She's up there, just having a good time with the boy. It is what it is. But it's just funny to hear them up there, especially when they keep going. But yeah, I got requests to kind of summarize a little bit about what has changed in the game, et cetera, over the past 6 months to a year. So that might be something we will be doing here in the future, maybe next episode, maybe one after that, to try to give people who are coming back for one Tamriel a little bit of a refresher. It may be boring for our normal listeners who already been playing nonstop, but we'll try to squeeze it in, not make it too long so you're not bored for too long.
makes sense.
I didn't get a whole lot of game time in this week. I'm almost done with Malaboltor. I know I've been saying that forever, but I'm actually down to, I think, I got the achievement saying that, you've done all the quests in this, or jumped the cat. She like freaked me out there for a minute because I didn't expect her. You've done X amount of quests in the zone, pretty much all of them. But you still have a couple to finish off. And I'm up to the point where I have to meet the Sylvanar in Sylvanar City, which is pretty much the last part of that zone. So I just got to finish that up, stop whatever's going down there, and then I can move on to Reaper's March, which is my last zone in the gold before being able to touch the DLC zones in Craglorn. So I'm excited about that. Also did Imperial City Night on Thursday. We had a fairly decent turnout. It wasn't as big as last week's, but again, Thursday was Thanksgiving here in the U.S., so I was surprised we had as large of a turnout as we did. We had quite a few players, not like maybe about half of what we had last week.
Did you kill any Altmers?
We did, actually.
Then it doesn't matter. It was a good event.
No, we did kill a couple AD and Altmer, so that was a lot of fun. Wasn't quite as exciting as last week with hiding in the center from a group of AD and hearing a bunch of screaming, "Get away from me!" But we got to do all. I remembered to pick up all the daily quests this time. So we did all the daily quests up around the outside corner, did all that. And then we went and did down into the sewers, got all the way to the center. We killed Molag Ball's Simulacrum, and then we made it all the way back to the EP side. And honestly, most people walked away with a lot of stones. I didn't, because I'm always leading, so I died a few times. I think I walked away with like 6k stones. Some people were up in the 13k or so, 10 to 13k Telvar stones. So we had a nice haul. So that was really cool.
That was my last week's Telvars, apparently. I logged out, but apparently it didn't pull me out of the server in time, so I died and I lost half of this.
Yeah, right. You were just standing there in the corner somewhere, and mobs spawned and killed you. Yeah, I remember that. Like, your character was still in the game. That was funny. That did happen. But it was still pretty good. I was gonna run Trials Night on Friday because I didn't have Raid and WoW on Friday because of the holiday. But unfortunately, work popped up and I couldn't go. So I don't know if everyone else ran, but I didn't get to run on Friday. So that was pretty much all I did this week in game. But that's pretty much all I did all week gaming, period, if you don't count Pokemon Go. Because I've been really getting into Pokemon Go. But that's for a different show, which we'll be booting up here soon. No, there's not going to be a Pokemon Go podcast. But we are going to do bring back our general gaming podcast, the Dungeon Crawler podcast.
Yeah, we are going to do an Overwatch podcast.
No! I don't play Overwatch.
Can we do an Age of Empires podcast?
You know what was really funny? I did play that with Ace last week. Yeah.
I have a new group of friends. I mean, not a new group of friends.
It's your fault.
But it's fun.
No, I know. It is. But it's your fault that I even played it, because I was looking at our Discord, you were doing the Age of Empires 2 HD edition. I'm like, oh, I love that game. I want to play it. So I talked Thais into one night playing with me, and we made a bunch of Trump jokes, because obviously I was playing Vikings. She was playing Persians, and we were playing against two AI. I know it's kind of off topic for Tales, but it's still funny. I built on defense right away. I built big walls, circled in my entire city. It was great. She got attacked pretty much right away, okay? And when she got attacked, my son's upstairs yelling. He's not very happy right now. When she got attacked, she's like, oh, they're already attacking me. I said, bring your people inside my walls. And I made immigrant joke going, hey, look, I let all the immigrants into my little area. She's like, well, you got to build a big wall. I'm like, I already did. And it still got in. Yeah, a lot of Trump jokes. But it was fun, and I did play Age of Empires too. But yeah, so kind of a spoiler, I am bringing back the Dungeon Crawler Network podcast as well. That will be coming back, be general gaming, mostly MMO related. No ETA on the time yet, but it will be coming back soon. So if you're not subscribed to that RSS feed, definitely do so, because you can get all of our podcasts on that feed as well as that one, which will probably be bi-weekly right now. That's pretty much all I did in game this week. I hope to get in next week and be able to hit some trials and stuff like that. So we'll see. Anything else, Ark, before we wrap up the show?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess that's about it, guys. If you're interested in following the show, check out our website, dungeoncrawlernetwork.com, YouTube page, youtube.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork. We got a Facebook group, Steam groups, all those fun things that you can find. Consider sending us an email, leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast and all those other fun things. So, I want to thank my co-host here, my partner in crime, Arkhaniir. Thank you for coming with me. I want to thank the chat room for being so active. Next week, we are probably going to beta test the call-in show. So if you are not part of our Discord, check out our Discord channel, join it, and join us for the live show, and get your questions, comments, and criticisms ready, because we may pull you in and you can yell at us live over the air. Thank you so much, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Tales of Tamriel, and we will see you next week. See you later, everyone.
The serpent lights the ancient sky, a thread of tainted stars. Evil stirs, and in its wake the souls of mortals sway. And sorrow reigns over fields of red, and spirits pace through the shadows cast by their grace. These are days and nights of venom and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall. Brave the strive, reclaim every soul that belongs to the beauty of dawn. Darkness strikes to blind the strong, but faith will guide our swords. Loyal hearts will stand as one and fight with shields of hope. Pride feels the deadly fire that devours our tower of gold. The drums of war will rage and roar till the sun burns bright once more. These are days and nights of venom and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall. Brave the strive, reclaim every soul that belongs to the beauty of dawn.